Hi everyone. My name is Jyoti, and I welcome you all to this new series that we are kicking off on behalf of RSC Asia Association as part of our Memorandum of Understanding with the Asia Pacific Advanced Network (APAN). In today's meetup, we would be discussing about the how we connect NRENs with research software in Asia. Um, just a few housekeeping rules. So during the meetup, we would be sharing a resource sheet that you can use to add your name, write about recommendations that you have in the my recommendation sessions, because we don't we want you all and the community to connect beyond work as well. So put in your recommendations there. It could be anything: food, music, movies, places to visit, etc. For this particular session, if you have any questions, any comments, you could add those to the comments or questions section in the agenda. And also, if you have any resources, learning resources, materials, recorded materials, or events coming up soon, you could add those to the agenda document as well. My name is Jyoti. I am the co-founder of RSC Asia Association, which is a volunteer-driven community. I'm a co-founder alongside Saranjeet. I have been trained as a statistician and have been working to raise the research software community in Asia since 2021. And now I'd like to invite my co-facilitator, Saranjeet, to introduce herself.
Thanks, Jyoti, and welcome everyone. I'm Saranjeet. I'm a research software engineer and co-founder of the RSC Asia Association. I'm very excited to have this conversation series with you all today, and also talk more about how we can further take the word further about research software engineering in the Asian context. And we are very glad that APAN has signed a MOU with us to like further our cause and help us develop both our communities together. Um, with that, I would like to invite Liana, who is our very first guest in this series. Liana has been championing the cause of supporting early career researchers and supporting our community for a very long time now, and we are very glad that she could make it to our very first series. So over to you, Liana.
Thank you, Saranjit, for the introduction. Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you, Saranjit, from RSC Asia Association for having me as the first speaker. My name is Liana Jacinta. I'm the general manager for the Asia Pacific Advanced Network. I have been in the NREN fraternity for the past 20 over years. Um, Started off as a network engineer for about 14 over years. And then we took over APAN as the secretary. And I think it's been about 3 years, maybe now, that I've been the general manager. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much about it.
All right. I'll take the next turn to introduce what this series is, why we are conducting this. Um, so yeah, um, this series is titled as Research Software and NRENs in Asia. It is part of the MOU that we signed with APAN in July 2025. We welcome you all to the kickoff episode of the series. The aim of running these meetups is to have a better sense of community for the professionals who are performing software related roles in the research ecosystem. So, people generally work on proprietary software. However, those who create software for research projects are not really well recognized within the research ecosystem, and there is some lack in recognition for the outputs created by them, the citations and the other materials. So therefore we started this series, and this will be a conversational space to bring together NRENs, that are the national research and education networks. We will bring together research software practitioners, just like you who all have joined in today, and we will be bringing in researchers across Asia to explore shared challenges, opportunities, and future directions. If you are curious about how APAN and NRENs support research across Asia and why software or code matters to your role, this is the space for you to come, listen to the guests, ask your questions, share your experiences, and build a better community. If you also want to explore how open science, cross border collaborations, inclusivity, and future focused opportunities within NRENs influence your career path, this is the space for you. With that, we would be starting off our discussion now. So, in today's session, we would be having uh, a Q&A form of discussion with Liana, where Saranjeet and I would be discussing some questions that are relevant for research software engineers. When that is done, at the end, we would be taking all the Q&A from people in the call, and I also want you to share your recommendations in the meanwhile. All right. So we start off with our discussions now, and the first question for Liana is regarding. The first session of discussions we will have is about APAN. So we go with the first question, that is what APAN is all about and what led to the creation of APAN in the in the Asia Pacific region.
Thank you,
Over
Jyoti.
to you. Yeah.
So, APAN stands for the Asia Pacific Advanced Network, and it is a consortium of about 24 members. And our members comprise of primary members, which are the NRENs. We have associate members who are members that are outside of Asia Pac, NREN who are outside of Asia Pac, and we recently introduced industry member as well. So we are not just restricting it to just the R&E, but we also want the industry to come in because as I go ahead with the conversation with you guys, you will see why we have brought in the industry as well, right? So, and we hope that this the consortium does not just limit to NRENs, and we are growing, right? So it is dedicated to the development and operation of high performance network infrastructure for the research and education community in the Asia Pac. It was founded out of a strategic necessity in the late 1990s, 96, 97, to bridge the digital divide within the region. As data intensive science began to transcend borders, it became clear that individual nations could not maximize their research potential in isolation. So APAN was created to provide that interoperability and platform for large-scale scientific collaboration. For those who are unaware of NRENs, it is basically the National Research and Education Network where they operate on very high bandwidth. When I was with Myron, we had links that were just 1 meg. 20 over years later, we run on 400 gigs. So over 20 years, so that has how much it has expanded. So APAN is not a technical, is not an infrastructure. The NRENs provide infrastructure. APAN provides the platform where these NRENs come together, right? Because like I said, we don't want APAN was created because we don't want these economies to work in isolation. There should be a platform where there is a need for collaboration, and how do they come about to collaborate if there's no platform, right? How do they meet? So APAN was formed for that. So the early architecture for APAN was championed by pioneering NRENs then in the 1990s. They were Japan, Korea, Australia, and Singapore. So these institutions acted as the technical backbone then, and acted as a diplomatic catalyst. So establishing the governance frameworks that allowed nations or economies to share resources um, under a unified regional umbrella. So that is how APAN was formed.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear how APAN initiated and how it has grown over the years. So the next question for you, Liana, is were there any key communities or institutions that were involved in APAN's early days, and what role did they play? You did mention about some of the initiating communities. Do you want to highlight about that?
So the four countries that I mentioned, Japan, Korea, Australia, and Singapore, were the ones who founded APAN. But along with that, we had working groups such as, because we created the platform, but then we needed content, right? Agriculture was created, telemedicine, um, agriculture, telemedicine, and network engineering. So these NRENs run on technical infrastructure. So the network engineering was created so that they give NREN updates, right? And then agriculture and telemedicine were very prominent at that point in time, especially telemedicine in Japan, Korea. And so these working groups were basically the foundation of APAN. And then we grew. I think we have got now uh, 10, 11, 12, I think 12 working groups. We've got special interest groups. We have got task force. So we have evolved.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear. I also remember having a conversation with Dr. Navneethan, who is also in the call, about how network engineering really built the base of communication for the different communities.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the next question, Liana. So, uh, okay, just give me a moment. I think there is some issue with the network. All right. Okay. So the next question is, why do you think that the research software community or the community of research software engineers, open source developers is important to APAN's mission?
Um, like like if you have attended my APAN introduction sessions at APAN meetings, I always say that the infrastructure is useless without the content, right? So even for NREN level, how big a bandwidth you run on, but if you don't have the content to drive it, to initiate collaboration or research, then it's useless. So likewise, the infrastructure without software is like a highway without vehicles, right? So while NRENs provide the infrastructure and APAN provides the platform layer, it is also the research software engineers who build the engines, right? So they translate the raw connectivity into functional tools like gateways, data processing pipelines, and simulations, right? Because I come from the technical background, so in order for the network to function, there's still programming involved, right? So without them, the high-speed links we maintain will remain underutilized. So the content that drives the utilization is very necessary. So they are basically the bridge for what I would call the big level transport to the knowledge level inside, right? So that's why we need, I mean, it is important that the research software community comes on board as well.
Thanks for highlighting the importance of the research software community, Liana. And with that, we move on to the next set of questions, for which I would like to invite Saranjeet to facilitate it.
Thanks, Jyoti. So the next question is a follow-up on what we were just talking about, why research software engineers are important to APAN's mission. And this question is more about how does like specific examples, or maybe how does APAN support open source, open software, or even cross-border research collaboration in practice. So if you have any anecdotes or any examples that you would like to share about how APAN is supporting this ecosystem of developers.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
APAN has its own working group for open and data sharing, right? Chaired by Dr. Vera Chai. But after APAN 61, we have changed the name to Open Science. So it is, let me make sure I get this right, Open Science Collaborative and Resource Working Group. So in a short form, it's called OSCAR. So because Dr. Virachai wanted to include the open science as well and not just data sharing. So moving forward, it will be known as open science. So this working group, in fact, has one of the largest gatherings of speakers. So we have speakers from as far as France, from the fire department, how they collect data for bushfires. We have also on data from Sri Lanka and Thailand, or how they collect data, because Chai is also part of the agriculture working group, is also part of the disaster mitigation working group, and we are talking about data. They're all data intensive working groups. And so how does he collect all this data together, right? And they all have got their own the community that brings that develops this data. So the cross border, that's how this cross border collaboration comes, because we have even UNESCO that comes in to speak on data. We have the organization from France, we have the organization from Philippines, from Thailand, from Indonesia. So and a lot of times all these three working groups actually come together at the open science sessions to share in terms of data. So this is how APAN has been doing cross-border collaborations.
Think that's like a brilliant way to like connect so many different working groups together, and I'm really happy to hear that the Open Sharing Data Working Group has been renamed to Open Science Working Group. I'm sorry, I missed the later part of the name, but
Open Science Collaborative and Resource Working Group, or
Open
short
Science
form OSCAR.
Collaborative
Yeah.
and Research Working Group. Okay, that's brilliant. And for our audience, we are happy to share that Liana did mention about Dr. Chai's work, and he's the next speaker for our like the second episode. But we'll come to it later, and maybe we'll dig up more on the ideas around how open science principles are being applied to all these different working groups, and the different domains, because you did mention about disaster management and some
Agriculture.
other working groups like the agriculture. So it would be really nice to dig a bit more into them as we progress along the series. With that, the next question is, how does APAN ensure that it's bringing diverse economies and research environments together? So this is primarily because I'm asking because how do we ensure that there is equitable participation across different regions and we are ensuring inclusivity in our approaches, Liana?
Yeah. So APAN members, basically Asia Pac countries. So we have got countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, India. We also have Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and then we have in Southeast Asia, we have all these countries here. So bringing them together is basically inclusivity already. And then although um, APAN meetings do look technical, but we try to bring in that's why we formed now known as OSCAR, right? Because we used to have like network engineering, we had IPIX, we had security, we had AI-driven networks. What else? We had cloud, IoT. So they are all pretty hardcore research. And then we brought in the application layer where we had things like um, e-culture, disaster mitigation, agriculture, telemedicine. So this groups coming together is has always been a challenge, right? But at the same time, APAN makes it a priority that we open it up for more work discussions. Recently, we also had a new. What we did also, we created special interest groups. So special interest groups, but they are on how its foundation is on a lot of discussion. We have the leaders forum where the NRENs come together and discuss on how do we work on capacity building, right? We have this backbone, we have this high-speed network, we have the researchers, we have the content. Now, how do you put everyone together, right? And that's how you encourage capacity building. So some of the discussions revolve around that. And then we also have the APAN fellowship program. Like I think, was it Jyoti or Saranjit? Oh, both of you. You're part of the fellowship program, right? And I think I see a few of the fellows are also in this series today. So the APAN fellowship program has also been very successful. We offer about 20 to 25 fellows each meeting. So we're looking at about a 40 to 50 fellows per year. And this fellowship program has been going on for really long. As long as I've been there, it has been there. So I'm sure it transcends beyond that. So what we did is we created a fellowship alumni program. So where we try to keep all the fellows together. So there's a lot of discussions. Like I remember Jyoti introduced, she promoted this series talk in a lot of the WhatsApp groups that she's in. So that's how a lot of communications continue, right? And it's not just that you attend one meeting, you meet your friends there, and that's it. You don't have the connectivity after that. So the inclusivity is not just about connectivity. It's about ensuring that the researcher in a developing country or economy has that same opportunities as someone from a developed economy. And our fellows are also given equal. We usually give more to the developing economies to come on board, but should we get uh, applications from Korea, Japan, we have got from China, we have got from Japan. So we do include them in as well, right? So it is very important for us to maintain the inclusivity across the whole platform for APAN.
Thanks, Liana. It does sound like Asia Pacific or even the Asian region is a very complex economy to cater to. And it sounds great that APAN is doing a great job in trying to maintain that balance with these different economies that are part of the region. And I'm pretty much aware of how it is not easy to like create that balance, yet there are a lot of efforts that are being made to make sure that happens. So, let's try to move a bit from the regional collaborations to more global research network organizations outside the Asia Pacific. So, how does APAN ensure that there are collaborations happening between APAN and the Asian region and also the global research network organization that are outside Asia Pacific? So, what are the initiatives or what are the ways in which APAN approaches these kind of collaborations?
Right. So, in terms of the network infrastructure, we are connected to the Europe, to US, to Africa, to Middle East, right? Via various links. Japan has provided links. We also have the EU's link called TN. So there are various, in terms of network infrastructure itself, we are globally connected. But in terms of how do we collaborate with the people there is um, APAN is like a critical node in the global network architecture, right? And because we cover Asia Pac, which is very big, we do maintain strategic alignments with Gion in Europe, Internet 2. So our two associate members are from the US, Internet 2. And then we recently signed an MOU with Ubuntu Net Africa. So we have been trying to get them to come for our meetings, but sometimes it's the distance, the cost. But we are working to see how we can bring them on board to our working groups. We do have representatives from Gion at every APAN meeting. We have got Helga that comes from Gion. We have got always we have been having participations from SURF from the Netherlands. So some meetings we get people from France. So and like I was saying, even the Oscar Chai's working group, they do work quite closely with the France. I'm not sure what department is that, but it's something to do with their. If I'm not sure, I think it's their fire department. So France. So one of the research institutes for managing fire. So that's in France. So in terms of, because we are so well connected because of the network infrastructure, we don't have to make an extra effort, because when we have APAN meetings, they come, and when they have their meetings, we have our community that also attends their meetings. So the big one at Gion is usually the TNC conferences. So we do have our community that goes. So there's a lot of collaboration that happens on the background continuously. So not just at APAN meetings, not just at TNC meetings, but there's a lot of communications. Like what APAN has also done is emulated what Gion has, the special interest groups, like they have for marketing. They have more specific special interest groups, which does not cater to our Asia Pac community. But the marketing and communication, yes, we took that. And we have got speakers coming in from, when we started off, we had speakers to speak from Gion to see how we could start this off. We have had keynote speakers from Gion as well. So in terms of collaboration with the global research networks, it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, definitely, because like even within Asia Pacific, it takes a lot of efforts with the geographical diversity and cultural diversity uh, to bring people on board. But with global collaborations, that I think that complexity reaches another level. And it's nice that there are ways in which the different global communities or the network engineering communities are connected with each other. Um, with that, we are going to move to the next set of questions, and I'm going to invite Jyoti back to ask the next set of questions about relationship building and what we can do about it.
Yeah. This is really well connected. So I just recalled about the Giant pair programming, community programming, paired community program, which I had heard in one of the keynotes in APAN during APAN 60. So that sounded really interesting to me to build communities with the support of each other. So yeah, that's really interesting to hear. Liana, how do you see the relationships between NRENs and research software evolving in the future?
So from when all these NRENs started, it was always about um, laying the infrastructure, right, and connecting the universities, connecting the hospitals, connecting the schools. So we date back to 19 till the maybe late 90s, early 2000. So the primary focus was always connectivity. But over the years, as things have evolved and research has evolved, the community has evolved. We are moving away from just being pipe providers, right, to being service orchestrators. So in the future, the NREN will be indistinguishable from the software layer, because it was always there's always that the separation of the network infrastructure and the content. So um, and I think that part has already merged. You don't see that difference anymore, right? So we are seeing a shift from towards software defined networking, where the network itself has become programmable. The relationship has become symbiotic. So software dictates how the network behaves in real time, right? To accommodate the massive database, because we're talking about a lot of that data right now compared to even 20 years ago, and you didn't need such big pipes. But at this point of time, we're talking about AI, we're talking about supercomputing, we're talking about quantum computing. So all this requires good infrastructure, but which has already been established. So we don't talk about infrastructure anymore. So it's more of the services that we provide, the content that is able to reach the community, to the researchers, to to the software community. So there's a lot of such opportunities now that where APAN actually tries to bring in more people through their working groups, because that's the only way that people are aware that, oh, this are a lot of channels that we can actually penetrate.
Uh, yeah, that gives a lot of hopes for opportunities for software engineers within the research ecosystem.
Yeah.
So what opportunities do you think the research software community should be paying attention to right now?
AI. There's a lot of, I think
Think,
now there's a lot
yeah.
of open source AI as well. I think in the Asia
Mm.
Pacific itself, I think about 60 to 70% of the organizations are expected to build applications using open source AI. So this is already a massive shift for the software engineers, right? And like I mentioned, quantum computing. So now it will have to be more of quantum safe infrastructure, and there's also security involved, and which we require the software engineers to write those codes, right? Things like even some time ago, I was also reading about green software engineering. So there's a demand for what do they call it? Sustainability driven software engineering. So there is I think there is a need that you will have to start writing codes that is energy aware, that that is um, where you, because there's a lot of carbon footprint, data centers, right? That's where your data stays. So there's a lot of carbon footprint at this point of time from that is emitting from data centers. So software engineers have to write code uh, that uh, that optimizes the resource consumption, right? And then health, even from the medical side or the telemedicine or health in general, where you are able to have a platform, for instance, where you can integrate human data, environmental data, even for the animals, right? So it is a lot of, again, I always talk about a lot of data that we carry on the network, right? So there is IoT, cloud. So for the software engineers, I think there is a lot of opportunities to create this lightweight, resilient software for to actually accommodate this massive data.
Okay. Okay. With that, I'd like to ask Saranji to take up the next set of questions, which are around what would be the future for APAN and for young researchers.
Yeah, sure. Before that, I'll just comment on a couple of things Liana mentioned there about developing software which is sustainable and which pays attention to the environmental impacts of the software development that you do. So I think it's a very emerging area, and like for the interested audience, it would be nice. Jyoti shared this link to the Green Disc certifications. So it would be worthwhile to take a look at what these initiatives are about and how researchers across the globe are trying to bring in more sustainable practices in developing research software. Um, so yeah, also if you have any questions for Liana, please feel free to drop them in the chat. After we are done with the Q&A, it would be very nice if we can hear some questions from the audience, and we can like share it with Liana to like hear her thoughts on those questions. So please feel free to use this opportunity and this time to share your thoughts and your questions. Even if you don't have questions, you might just put in your thoughts about what do you feel about this discussion, and if there are any topics that we might have missed, but you did want to listen a bit more about those specific topics. So please feel free to use the chat. Um, we're going to move to the fourth and the last set of questions for Liana. It's more about the career journey that she has been on and her career trajectory. I know she has been a long-term contributor to the APAN community, and she started leading the community and is like the face of the community. So she has been a huge inspiration for me personally, and for many, I'm sure for many upcoming researchers and young people in this part of the world. Um, so, Liana, really, how do you feel about, from your own personal perspective, how do you feel about leading APAN today, and what is something that really excites you about being the face of APAN?
Oh, wow, that's a tough question. Um, okay. What excites me about APAN are the people, right? And I have continued to see the same people for the past 20 over years. Like they don't retire. I mean, they retire from the profession, from the organization, but they don't retire from APAN. It is a community that is like a second family to me, right? So when I used to attend APAN, it was as an engineer, and then I was the program manager, and then to see APAN evolve, right? Then I started off my own company with Sean. And then so this opportunity came back again, knocking at our doors. Like, I left Myron and then there was an opportunity that came knocking back. So it was very exciting to come back to the community and to see more things happening, right? And to see it shifting from just pure connectivity to creating impact. Like at every APAN meeting, we have something called the General Assembly on the Friday of that whole week. So on the that Friday, the all the session chairs, the working group chairs, or even just workshops, they come up on stage and give a brief or summary of what took place the whole week, right? And I am always wonderstruck, like, wow, the things they do, right? And things that you would have no idea can be done is done, especially the telemedicine group. They're crazy. Like they have 700-800 participants the whole week. I mean, they're all virtual, but they look at every uh, discipline that is available in the medical fraternity. That they look into gastro, they look into eye, they look into neuro. You name it, they have it, right? If just go to the APAN website, go to, let's say, apan61.apan.net and look at the sessions that telemedicine alone has. They have 15 sessions the whole week, right? 5 sessions a day we are talking about. So every time when they're presenting something and you're like, oh, and it gets you reading, because like you would not even have thought that this kind of things exist that can be done, right? The conversation these days is not, it's no more of how many geeks does your network have. It's more of how does your network solve crisis, water crisis, flood, right? Or even predict the next pandemic. Like when we had the really bad floods that happened in Sri Lanka, Chai went there, right? He was called upon to go and study their data. And I think it's an ongoing thing. So it's important that, why do the floods happen and to such really massive ones. So it has come to that point, like what can your network do to solve or to make things better for the community. So basically leading APAN today with with the members, it's not a solo job, right? It's with the secretariat, with the board of directors, with the council members. I mean, it's a family, right? So leading APAN, it's more of the intersection of high evolving technology and human evolution, right? Because the people are also evolving. The brilliant level is just different, all right? So it is more of um, how would I put it? It's more of collecting regional intelligence into tangible global solutions, and APAN has been doing it. They have actually been coming up with solutions, and to see how a lot of those issues can be looked into, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm always excited about APAN.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear your journey about how you like moved into the leadership role and what really excites you about the human connections that you have formed with this community, how closely you feel you are aligned with their principles and the values and the ideas or topics that they are working on. And yeah, I definitely agree. It's like a very rapidly evolving tech sector as well, that you have to like keep on top of and keep in touch with, and use these technologies to solve so many different challenges that uh, the community faces, like you mentioned about the floods in Sri Lanka, and what the community can do about helping the researchers or providing resources in these regions or when such disasters occur. So, finally, if you had one piece of advice to older young researchers and the software developers in Asia Pacific region who are listening to you today or who would be listening to the recordings or reading the posts about this about APAN or about this series, what is that one piece of advice that you would give? And I'm asking this because you represent a underrepresented community in tech. So you're a female representing or leading a very big group of organization. So I'm sure many people are looking up to you and would like to hear what are your thoughts and what is your advice for them.
For the research software community, I would say, don't just build or don't just code for your organization. No, build for the ecosystem because they need that. That's
That
it.
yeah,
Yeah, that would
that's
be.
a very very important point, like building for the ecosystem, not just for like making sure the ecosystem also sustains and uh, the people who are coming after you have these resources and ideas to develop further upon. We have one question from the audience. This is from um, sorry, I just lost track of the chat. But yeah, the question is from Anajit. So they ask for the disabled people, for example, those who are visually impaired or blind, what kind of options are available for self-development? For example, if they want to develop in terms of research or engineering or even professionally and want to contribute back to the community, what kind of resources do we have available?
Are we talking about the research software,
I'll
Anandit?
just, yeah, I think so. They are asking more on
Yes,
research
research
engineering.
software, AI, data. So the key things that you've talked about, all the initiatives coming in.
Hmm. Okay, because we have various communities that we do have such communities as part of our working groups. So if you could get in touch with us and see how you would like to provide, and we could take it from there.
Yeah, I think there is, I'm sure Liana would be able to provide more details, but there is like a page on the APAN website where you can find the different working groups.
Mhm.
And usually they are very proactive, like if you're writing to them. And I think you can also subscribe to the mailing lists if you want
Yes,
to hear on the
yeah,
opportunities, but I'll leave to Liana to tell a bit more
yes.
about
So
that,
you can just
how
drop
you
an
can.
email to us at sec@apan. Yeah, to this email, and we can take it up further with you to see which working group, which community, or which who could actually assist you on this.
Sure. Thanks, Lena. Hope that helps. And Ajit, yeah, do get in touch with the email address provided. It's they're quite responsive to emails. Jyoti, you just mentioned that there are some more questions. Did you want to pick
Yeah.
on those?
Yes. While we asked people to register, we also asked them if they had some questions to discuss during the session, and I'll take those now. So we have about comments. So the next question that we got from the audience is, so what resources are available to self-train to be able to learn and contribute back to research software engineering, research REN? I'd like to ask the member to also elaborate REN and APAN. So yeah, resources for self-training. We did mention a lot of different resources throughout the episode, but if you want to share something else, Sanjeet or Diana, now's the time.
Um, Let me see. In terms of resources, I mean, we look into capacity building, right? There are a lot of programs. APEN Fellowship is one of it. So, but APEN Fellowship, you have to belong to one of the NREN, the Research and Education Network in your country. So that is one. We are also working with Asia Connect. So they are the body that is in charge of providing grants for uh, the Asia Pacific countries that are connected to the European side. So the EU provides the grant and they manage the grant. So there's a lot of trainings that take place there as well. We also run workshops. We have successfully run the AP Gain workshop on AI for the past 2 years, but they have ended. So there's also this kind of workshops that take place during the APAN meetings. So if there's anything specific that you would like, you can just drop us an email at sac@apan, and we'll see how we can help you. Because we need to understand where you're from, what you do, and what kind of resources you need, what kind of capacity, in what capacity you need assistance, right? So in order for us to give you more information.
Okay. I hope that answers the question. And the last one that we have is that we are interested in building cooperation networks related to open source software stack supporting scientific data centers. Yeah, so that's the comment. Maybe we could talk about how the cooperation networks for uh, open source software stack as well as open source software stack that supports scientific data centers. Um, any comments on that, Sanjeet or Liana?
I'm not really sure what is a cooperation network.
Yeah, I'm not sure as well. Is he or she here?
Um, well, I am not really sure of who had asked this question, but I can check it in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, one observation that I have is for data centers that are specific to research, they are mostly located within an organization. So I guess maybe connecting to a community, the outreach community of organizations would help in this regard.
Yeah, and then if it's more like open source kind of roles, then I think there are several open source communities that which also regularly organize meetups or events, irrespective of where you're located. If usually there is like a online component to meetups these days, so if you want to learn more about the open source part of it, because I'm not entirely sure what a corporation network is about. Um, and data centers are usually part of certain organizations, so you'll have to get in touch with that organization. If you like, again, like Liana mentioned, she has shared the SecAPAN email. So if you had like specific requests in mind, you're very welcome to write to that email. I hope that's okay, Liana. I'm
Yeah,
just
because we
promoting
do
the
have
email
open source
address.
communities as well,
Yeah.
that that are part of the APAN community. So we could actually, again, we'll need to know where you're from, so we could put you through the right community.
Yeah, so yeah, feel free to reach out to APANSEC on that email address with your specific requests, and I'm sure there will be communities that are interconnected, or people who know other people. So that's a good way to like reach out to like the target that you're trying to reach. So yeah, really make use of that resource and that facility that's available. Um, Yeah, Jyoti made a comment that we are going to create a blog post after this episode to like consolidate all the topics that we discussed today and all the resources that were shared during the discussion. So please feel free to follow our LinkedIn page. You'll get more updates over there. Also, I don't remember now, but somebody did ask about what kind of resources and upcoming opportunities are available. I would recommend you really follow the APAN LinkedIn page and RSC Asia's LinkedIn page, because these are the places where usually the announcements happen of any upcoming workshop or events or resources and opportunities that are available. So try to stay connected with the network, and that's one way. It can be difficult for us to like reach out to every individual, but if you're following the community social media, it's easier to like make announcements there, and you can follow up on any upcoming events or resources. Um, yeah, before I hand it back to Jyoti, I quickly, because we have 2 more minutes for like one quick question. If somebody has a question, you can also unmute if you want to verbally ask your question. I can see Shan is also on the call, but I don't want to put him on the spot. uh, But yeah, I really feel this was a very productive discussion, and there was a lot to learn, a lot of inspiration from Liana, and a great deal of information about how APAN is connected with so many different communities and how you can leverage this network to reach out to different regions. Um, I think that is the beauty of this kind of how do you put a multi like a big organization alliance, which is then connected to several regions and several countries. So if you want to reach out to specific region or a specific country, there are contacts that can lead you to those regions. So yeah, I guess that has been really really helpful. um I'll mute, like I'll pause for like a few seconds if somebody is trying to come up with a question. Okay. If not, I'll hand it back to Jyoti for the wrap up and for the next steps. She has some exciting announcements, which would be really nice for you to hear and if you're interested in it. So, yeah, back to you, Jyoti.
Yes, the discussion today has been really inspirational with our guest today, Liana, who is herself an inspiration for a lot of people, including me. And so I'm very happy that we had this kickoff today. Besides, we also have a lot of people from the APAN community. I see there's Dr. Chai, who is chair of three of the different working groups within APAN. We also have Dr. Navneethan and a lot of other fellows and fellows of APAN and members of RSC Asia community. So I feel really happy to see you all coming together today. In order to we see that these connects are a bit scattered, and in order to have a more structured community for research software engineers within Asia, we started to understand the landscape through a survey. And the link is what I've pasted in the chat. This would help in uh, getting your voices to us, as well as there is also a cash prize. There would be a referral for that. So it would take less than 20 minutes, and it would help us in connecting the community even better. Besides, during the discussion today, Liana mentioned about the different working groups like the agriculture working group, the data working group, disaster management working group, telemedicine, and and others. I have heard a lot of talks from these various working groups throughout the APAN meetings that happen every year. And something that has stayed in my mind are the work that the disaster mitigation group does about uh, making connections quicker and predicting any disaster coming up. So that I have found that to be really interesting to hear. And we have the chair of these working groups, who is Chai, as our next guest. So if you'd like to hear more about that, uh, I have dropped the registration link for the episode 2 in the chat. That would happen 1 month from now. That's on 11th March, same time. So really excited to see you all there. Besides, if you'd like to be a member of RSC Asia group to hear more about all the exciting updates that we have, you could consider filling the community membership form, which would take less than a minute, and you would get to know all the updates from us. And also there is the RSC Asia LinkedIn, which you could follow to hear about any of the future meetings, future workshops, and webinars from us. Yep. So that was about wrapping it all up. I am really glad to hear the intense discussion that we had today, and also really, really happy to see all the community members coming up. We also had this highly my recommendation section, which I think some of us would try. There is a game shared by Devi Das. Definitely checking it out later on. Game theory, that's very interesting. Those who are from mathematical background or even otherwise would find it really interesting. Also, really happy to see that we have quite a long list of recommendations of shared resources from the session today. So we would be sharing that through a blog that would come up soon, which we would share through our LinkedIn page. So please look out for that. Um, that was all from my side. Any closing comment from you, Liana? I would remember your comment on build the ecosystem, and would think of it as the quote from the episode. Any last closing comment?
Yeah, all right. So it has been a pleasure, Saranjit and Jyoti. So to see you guys grow, it's lovely because I think I met Saranjit at Nepal, right? So that
Yes,
was
yeah,
after
that was
COVID,
the
our
first
first
time.
APAN. In fact, my first physical APAN meeting after COVID as well. So yeah, so it's wonderful to see the amount of effort you guys are putting in, and I think you guys should be featured in the upcoming APAN meetings. Yeah, so thank you so much for having me as your first speaker, and all the best to you girls, and thank you for everyone else who has joined us today.
Thanks,
So much,
Liana.
Thank
Liana.
you.
Yeah, I think we are at the hour and it's time to end this meetup now. So, thank you everyone for joining and sharing your thoughts and being there for us with us for this entire 1 hour. I hope you have a fruitful day or evening, and a wonderful career and personal journey. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Uh,